Hey guys, I'm Naley Gonzalez and welcome back to my channel where I share tips and advice on writing, my own writing process and journey, and my occasional opinion on stuff going on in the writing world. Meaning you should subscribe so you don't miss out. In this video, I'm going over consent for your sex scenes. This means there will be talk about rape. If you don't want to stick around, I completely understand and respect your choice to skip this video or come back to it when you're ready. Always put yourself and mental well-being first. If you're joining us for the first time, this is part 4 in the series. The links for the playlist and the first 3 videos in the series are down in the description, so be sure to check them out. Now, some writers make it very clear that both characters are 100% interested in having sex with each other. So you have to ask yourself as a writer, is clear consent important to you? The question is worth asking, especially if you're writing a sex scene that can and will be read by an impressionable crowd. In part 2 of this series, I brought up how having a promiscuous character is okay, but make it clear they're having sex because they want to be intimate with that person. If your character is engaging in sexual acts because of pressure from their partner, they're under the influence of drugs or alcohol, suffering from mental illness, trauma, or anything that doesn't allow them to make a clear, conscious choice of their own free will, is not consent. If you're not allowed to sign a legal document when you're under duress or not of sound mind, what makes you think that what's done with your body is any different? Now, I understand the world isn't kittens and puppies and rainbows. People can make poor decisions when they're unwell, and worse, some people can be monsters. So I'm going to share with you how to include consent in your story and 3 ways how to tackle non-consensual scenes in your writing. If you're going to put clear consent in your story, be sure to include these 2 things. First, when writing the sex scene, make sure that your character is of clear mind. They need to be able to know what they're doing. So if they're high or drunk, off of medication that helps with their cognitive thinking, then they should not be consenting to sex. Make sure there's as little confusion for the reader as possible. Is Sam hooking up with Pat because he wants to hook up with them, or because they took 4 shots of tequila? Second, that there's verbal communication between all involved. This doesn't have to be dramatized of asking, can I touch your hair? Can I touch your shoulder? Can I pull your shirt off? A lot of scenes work up to the point of penetration, then stop for one partner to ask, are you sure you want to continue? That works great. I know nowadays people like to argue that it's not sexy and it's a turn-off, but the truth of the matter is consent is sexy. If one character asks another character to have sex, that means that they're into them and that they're asking for permission to do stuff with them. If that's not a turn-on for your character, I don't know what is. You can turn consent into foreplay. Break it down into stages. May I kiss you? Yes. Can I kiss your neck? Yes. You can also write physical cues for some characters, but sometimes that isn't enough. There can be a head nod, there can be a light moan for your other character to understand that they're enjoying what's being done. But if you want to make it realistic and show that these characters trust each other, they have to be able to communicate. So make them unafraid to speak up and say what they really want, whether that's to have sex or to stop. Now, for writing non-con scenes, you have to keep these 3 things in mind. First, ensure that it supports the story. This goes for sex scenes in general if you're not writing an erotica, but for non-consensual sex scenes, don't just throw one in for shock factor. I have an attempted rape in my debut novel. I make it clear why it was the characters involved and how it was crucial to the story and character development. Second, be clear it's rape. That means all those things that I mentioned earlier of not being of sound mind or being under the influence come back into play. If your character suffers from addiction, a mental illness, have a drinking problem, are easily pressured into doing things, or scared of their partner, make sure that it's established throughout the narrative that this character is unwell in some way and that this is not a good situation for them. Do exactly as I shared in part 2 of writing sex scenes. Tease the scenes. Instead of them flirting, have scenes where the predator learns these things about their victim. Maybe Pat notices that Sam walks home alone after they've been drinking at the bar. Maybe it catches Sam's eye how impulsive and manic Pat is. Drop hints from these questionable characters. A cute guy like you shouldn't be walking home alone. Aren't you scared something will happen to you? Use the narrative to establish the mindset of your character and let it be known this predator, no matter what their relationship to your character, may just be a wolf in sheep's clothing. Share the reason behind the sex and drop hints that this isn't what your character would want if things were actually going well for them. Third, don't get overly detailed on non-consensual sex scenes. Even if you're writing erotica, don't write out rape scenes. For erotica, consensual sex scenes are supposed to excite you. They're written to create an enjoyable fantasy. Rape is not that. If you're going to include a non-consensual sex scene in your novel, the only way to do it, in my opinion, is a young adult or fade to black method. Think about the book Speak by Lori Halse Anderson. Melinda's attack isn't described paragraph after paragraph. It's done over time with flashbacks and are glimpses of what occurred. When a victim is attacked, they're not enjoying what they're going through. Focus more on the feelings they're experiencing during or after and keep the physical limited. Victims can remember a lot from their assault, but it doesn't doesn't mean they like to. Write your character feeling the ache in their arm from where they were held down, the gross smell of their attacker's breath, hearing their attacker's orders or demands, or them wishing for it to be over with. But unlike part 3 of writing sex scenes, keep it short. Allow your character to assess their feelings. If they're mentally unwell, there's a chance they may close themselves off. If they're of sound mind, they might be cycling through their feelings. Maybe they're scared, then they're angry, then they're sad. Just don't go into detail over every action of the assault. The attacker is not the final love interest for the story. It's usually some asshole who gets punished later on. So with that said, keep your detailed sex scenes for your happy and consensual lovers. I'm sure I can talk so much more about this specific topic, writing related and not, but if you have any questions on writing sex, consensual or non-consensual, leave me a comment down below or send me an email, which you can find on my website, naleygonzalez.com. Give this video a thumbs up so I know you found it useful. Subscribe to my channel for more videos on writing content. Turn on your notifications so you're the first to know when I upload a new video. And follow me on social media. As always, thanks for watching. Until next time.